Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, and welcome to Dev Talks. As everybody can see, I have with me Mr. Sumit Peer, who's going to talk to us about the latest new avatar of the Indian foreign policy. A lot of people call it the Modi Jaishankar doctrine. A lot of people call it the latest version of the stuff that came out from the voice of the global south. What is the reality? Because we have changed, we have seen some changes happening in Africa and many other global south nations. Sir, hello and welcome to the show.
Namaskaram, Adiji, Vanakkam, and Pranam to all, Sadhuvat to all. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Always a pleasure to be on your show. And in fact, if I start, you see, what we are seeing is a new and a resilient India. We are seeing the India which is kicking and punching to its weight and size. We are seeing an India which is assertive. We are seeing an India who is not demanding any place, who's commanding, right? We are not demanding anything, we are commanding. Now, if you traditionally look at the world around us, I mean, here and today, I also like to give the context to what Honorable Dr. Bhagwat ji said, Mohan Bhagwat ji said today. See, he also made a statement on this today. Incidentally, I was on some debate on that. Now, when it comes to countries, you see, Russians once were powerful. Then Russia thought, like, how to control my people, how to get more powerful, how can I control my stature? Americans did it. Japan got an opportunity, Japan did it. This is how can I get prosperity, my people, for my land. And then Chinese also did the same. Now, in my opinion, Adiji, all these four guys have missed the bus. Because ultimately, when you want to do it everything for your own people, when you want to keep all the wealth for yourself, all the things for yourself, the cost of living, the cost of maintenance of the ecosystem goes very up. Now, when it goes up, a lot of ecosystems becomes fragile. So the cost of living of these countries is exponentially high. Even if you look, for example, the common notion is that China is very cheap and the cost of living is very cheap there. But, in China, 67% of the women are working. And after that, they cannot have a baby because the cost of having a baby of the school and a nanny is more than the salary they get. Imagine they're at a manager's level. I'm not talking about a worker. That is what is happening in China. Now, the one-child policy, disaster, 66% male population and 33% females. That's why they are eyeing Pakistani females and Pakistani girls. This is happening. That's why the Chinese are suddenly marrying everywhere in the world because there are no girls to be found. Now the Chinese Communist Party has woken up, okay, second child incentive, third child incentive. But at the same time, if you look at the numbers, 53 trillion cumulative debt, 55% of global GDP. More than 50% of the provinces have 45% of their GDP as debt. So China is on the verge of breakup. And if you look at the Chinese think tanks, they are already talking of 2029. 6 years down the line. It's not, when my grandchildren are going to grow up and, reach my age. I'm talking 6 years down the line and you and me will be around and we'll celebrate for sure. Now, that is about the China. Now, look at the United States of America. Cumulative debt is $34.1 trillion. Cumulative debt has crossed the cumulative national savings, right? And you have printed $7 trillion already. You're talking of printing 4 trillion more. Point number one. Illegal immigrants has crossed the number of legal immigrants, right? It has happened. And more than 52.5% of your people are on marijuana. Youth. Marijuana, right? It's just some small. So this is where the plight of the situation is. If you look at your universities, mostly the deans are Indian. If you look at the people going to the university, 50% are Indian and Chinese. Whole Caucasian population, Caucasian, I'm talking the Caucasian, which is American, is less than 45%. If you look at the people who are graduating, it's not even 30%. If you look at the people who are going work, teenage pregnancies is a big problem. They are already talking schools should have crashes. If you look crashes with them, what these baby crashes. Now, if you look at the shootings of last year, 1.5 shootings per day. 1.5 shootings per day. Guns sold 2.5 times the population. And you can get a gun for $300 anywhere. They are all available. And Chinese market, China has flooded them with the guns. So with this thing happening, and this is, now you will say, hey, Sumit, what the hell are you talking, man? America is a great country. It's a big country. But, sir, if you look at Ted Cruz said at this debt, at this interest rate, America is not sustainable. Now, Ted Cruz is not a kid out of the school. He's not like me. He's one of the front runners of the American prison. This is happening in America. Not only that, they need to put 20 trillions to revamp their infrastructure. They need to get back industries to America. They need to put every time they need to put $2 trillion every year for next 10 years. Where is that money? Look at the current interest rates going around 4%. It used to be 0.5%. And if you print more money, what used to happen, Adi, traditionally is, when you print dollars, you hold back the dollar. Local currencies will fall. You start releasing the dollar. The inflation which was generated by printing of the dollars will be transferred to the whole world. Now, what did Americans do? Thanks to Joe Biden, he's a wonderful man. He weaponized the dollar. Oh, he masterstroke weaponized the dollar. Khashoggi is incident with MBS, and then the Russian-Ukraine war. And where do we stand today, my brother? Indian currency is the fourth circulated currency in the whole world. 20 countries have agreed to rupee trading. Last one is Bangladesh, which happened yesterday or day before yesterday. So that is already work in progress. We are already the fourth largest currency. And now Africans are openly snubbing Americans and Europeans. And would it be wrong to say the first American president was a slave trader? No, factually correct. He was a slave trader. Right. Now you got these Africans, poor Africans as slaves. You have looted Africa. You have siphoned all the wealth from Africa. For example, today we are buying 200,000 kilos of gold from United Arab Emirates. There are no gold mines in UAE. Where does the gold come from? It comes from Africa. Where do the diamonds come from? Where does the metals come from? And which is the poorest continent? Africa. Which is the richest in mineral wealth? Africa, yet poorest because everybody exploited Africa. And now let me give you some more statistics. Chinese have put around $74 billion in Africa, and we have put $72 billion in Africa. So our investment and the Chinese investment are equal. But the kind of stature we enjoy in Africa, no nation in the world has that stature. No nation. Our TVS and Bajaj are the highest selling motorcycles in Africa. 70 of the Chinese companies have closed down. Our cars sell in Africa. Our businesses are in Africa. We had a defense expo. All the 65 African nations in and around from Africa and South America were there. We have air show. All the African countries were there. 25 African countries have approached us for restructuring of our debts, their debts. Now, Uganda recently approached us, can you extend Jal Jeevan mission there? We have given our CoWIN application to them. We have given our software to them. We are giving satellite data. We are giving them affordable arms. We are giving them affordable defense structures. We are giving them credit lines. We are helping them restructure. We are giving them food. We are giving them, and I have a lot of pride in saying this, Adi. If HIV today is eliminated of the world, it is not because of Pfizer or Roche or any of these guys. It is because of the Indian medicine. We as Indians, there are around 12,000 APIs in medicine. We have started manufacturing 5. The day we manufacture 8, we'll be ruling the medicine industry. Today, by volume, we are number 3rd in the world, exporting to more than 200 countries. And you know which is the biggest market of Indian medicines? If I take a guess, you'll say Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, something. It's a normal
US?
comes to mind. No, sir. United States of America with 32% of the market share. And the biggest killer disease there is cardiovascular. And we are supplying the medicines for that. In American pharmacies, what you sell, what is selling is Indian medicine today. That is the reality of life. That is what is happening. We are the pharmacy of the world. And our demographic dividend is going to last for next 70 years. In last 18 months, we have got $532 billion of FDI. Around almost $1 trillion we have got. Number 1 FDI destination. And in roads, now we are the number 2 after United States of America. And what is India talking about? India is talking about Vasudevam Kutumbakam, Sarve Santu Nirhamaya, Tamso Ma Jyotirgamayam. We are talking of Global South. What is Global South? 80% of the countries, 80% of the world population. Now, the mistake which Americans did, which Chinese did, which Japanese did, which Russians did, we are not doing that. We are taking everybody with us. This is the new doctrine of foreign policy. And incidentally, if you look at the 57 Muslim countries, none of them wants to do rupee trading in Pakistan, though they're part of same Ummah, so-called Ummah. But all the Muslim countries want to do rupee trading with so-called Kafirs. We are, as per their terminology, we are the Kafirs. They want to do business with Kafirs. So this is where the things have changed. This is where the Modi Jaishankar doctrine is working. We are replying to Americans on their soil. We are talking to Europeans at an equal footing. And Africa, West Indies, Caribbean countries, and whole of South America is looking forward to India. African leaders are openly snubbing Kamala Harris, maybe it Macron. On what? They know they have a reliable partner called India. And my brother, with 20 countries already circulating, GCC countries want to do FDA with you. Eurasian countries want to do FTA with you. European Union wants to do FTA with you. UK wants to do FTA with you. And it's a matter of time. We'll have Indian rupee being circulated in Africa. The day Indian rupee circulates in Africa, we're talking of 30 countries. The day Indian rupee hits 50 countries, it's in the IMF's kitty. And then everybody has to keep rupee reserves. And today, even with 20 countries, the common notion is that, what people usually think, that they will do business with India, which is okay, they will do business with India. Now, look at our exports last year, $770 billion. I had predicted on your channel and other channels by 2030 we will do 1.5 trillion in goods and 500 billion in services. Exactly after 4 days, Mr. Piyush Goyal, our Commerce Minister, gave the vision and the roadmap for that. Coupled with Operation Gati Shakti, coupled with Bharat Mala, Sagar Mala, the infrastructure we are developing. And now imagine if 50 countries have rupee. What will they? They will use rupee to buy goods and services from you. Not only that, there's one more silver lining which people are not thinking. The silver lining is, my brother, that even these countries can do trade with themselves using Indian rupee. Why do they need dollar? I mean, Zimbabwe has to buy something from, let's say, South Africa. Why dollar? Why not Indian rupee? Both have Indian rupees. They can also trade in Indian rupees. And to complement that, our gold reserves are substantially increased. We are holding around 50% of the gold of the world. We are a nuclear triad. Just now, today, we tried one more ICBM interceptor missile, which can be launched from the sea. We have done more than 36 missile tests. We are self-sufficient. We are the 4th biggest military in the world, and our Air Force is rated 3rd in the world. We are enhancing our naval assets. We have more than 66 naval assets, which we are building right now. And China has, by the way, retired what I was always predicting, 18 plus 12, 30 submarines. You can check the numbers, they are already retired. So this emergence of India, and we have found lithium, we have found uranium, we have found 14 rare earth metals in Andhra Pradesh, and that is how India is emerging. Now, if you look at it, there's one thing I want to bring to your attention. Look at our RBI page. Our dollar reserves have gone down. We have increased gold and euro reserves. Now, de-dollarization is happening at an alarming pace. Now, Saudis cannot come and want to sell oil to you at rupees, but they will come through the GCC. So with GCC, the trading will be in rupees. So the day we get oil and gold in rupees, our two highest items on the foreign exchange bill are gone. This emergence of India happened between you and me were talking. This is not where what my, it started at your grandfather's era and my grandfather's era. This started in our era. And when was the seed put in? The seed was put in 13 July 2022. That is exactly the day when RBI said rupee trading, exports can be settled in rupee trading. And by the way, my friend, 72 countries are interested. We have only done packs 20, 72 are interested. There are 50 more to go. So this new resilience, why Africans, South Americans, Caribbeans, a lot of people in the South Asia are looking to us. We helped Bangladesh to get $4.5 billion. We are the country who has made Sri Lanka stand again. All the people of Sri Lanka love us, respect us. Maldives, we have done our job. If you look at the surround Bhutan, we have done our job. Nepal is safe because of us. In fact, currency of Nepal and Bhutan is printed in India. Right? Only the jihadi Pakistan is left because they're destined to doom. Nobody can save them. Now, who relieved Sri Lanka from Chinese debt trap? Us. Why have 25 African countries come to you to help them in the restructuring of our debts? And now BRICS Bank. By the way, BRICS Bank is getting as powerful as World Bank. Almost there. Now, Saudis want to join BRICS. Now we have SCO happening. Bilawal Bhutto is coming for SCO. He's just coming here to have coffee and biryani, by the way. We don't want to do anything with him. Now, see the India stature. What is India trying to do? I've been always saying that India works on Arthashastra. We are not working on Western model of economics, which is flawed. I've been always saying which is flawed, which is not sustainable. Sir, with a lot of conviction at my command, I'm saying American capitalism is not sustainable. This you can quote me for last 3 years. I'm saying this. American capitalism is not sustainable. What is sustainable is only Vasudevam Kutumbakam. When you are thinking of the whole people, you balance the risk, you divide the risk, you want the people to come up, you think of humanity as such. Today, Sanatan and Bharat is the hope of the world. Today, Sanatan's and Bharat's policies are for the humanity, are for the development of humanity. They are not self-centered. If we were self-centered, we could have made $1 trillion in vaccines. We did not make. We could have made a skill in HCQ. We did not make. See, now French are talking that they might get frigaters from us. China is rattled by the beef of India's firepower. China is pretty rattled. China knows they cannot handle India. Right. Now we are having relations with Americans. We are also doing business with Russians. This is again a unique country to do that. We are paying S-400, no Katska sanctions on us. We are friends with the Muslim world. Right. We are also friends with the Jews. No other country has been able to do us. And in I2K2, there are Hindus predominantly, which is Indian. There are Jews, there are Muslims, there are Christians. We have replaced France and UK from the Middle East. Look at the economic outlook. We're talking around 6%. And if I look at my friends in UK, it's minus 0.3. If I look at my friends in Germany, minus 0.1. The figures are out. This is out data. I have also tweeted on this. Anybody can see that. So this change, overall 360-degree change in perspective, in approach, in doctrine, and how India is coping up, how India will be relevant to the world, because pharmacy of the world, food basket of the world, IT capital of the world, biggest market of the world, biggest retail of the world. Our financial sector is $7 trillion. $1 trillion is our space sector. Our tourism is $1 trillion. Our roads, infrastructure, freight corridors, stable currency, third and foreign exchange reserve, all kinds of manpower, skilled, unskilled, and stable currency, IPR protection, democracy, and a vibrant democracy. Growth rate of 6.8%, 6%, highest, fastest growing small or bigger economy in the world. That is what India is, and a stable leadership, and a third powerful army, and a nuclear triad. Now, give me any other country which has all these options? No. And what is our median age? 28 years, right? And how long is our demographic dividend going to last? 70 years, right? And how many? We are adding almost in 12 days a unicorn. We're the third biggest startup capital in the world. In 2014, we had 400 or 300 startups. Now today, we have more than 100 unicorns. We have added more than $330 billion of capital and given 800,000 jobs. Where are the highest number of developmental projects happening today in the world? India. You know, Adi, in India, any given point of time, we have 8,000 developmental projects happening, 8,000. And if we are completing 100, we are starting 100 more. 700 projects across 70 countries in the world we are doing. Now only what I'm very happy with this resilient policy Prime Minister Modi and Dr. Jaishankar, for whom I'm a great fan of, both of them. I salute the gentleman. You know, now this Sanatan and Hindu Dharma, which is where Chanakya Niti, Arthashastra are a part of it, we are kind of practicing it. Now we have told that wherever there's a Hindu temple in the world, we are going to renovate it. We are going to upkeep it, which includes Angkor Wat, because the Sanatani civilization is more than 100,000 years old, and it is not confined to South Asia. It is confined to Vietnam, Japan, Russia, which is the most converted religion. People are converting in Russia. Hinduism, Cambodia, Hinduism, Colombia, Hinduism. And if you go to South American countries, Hinduism, where are the maximum celebrities converting to? They are converting to Hinduism. Because we are the only ethos, we are the only thought process, we are the only dharma, we are the only way of life where we talk of economy and ecology in the same breath. We understand the fine balance of elements. We know what is the balance of elements around, right? We have the Honorable Prime Minister has given the call of Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India. I mean, which other visionary leader had this? Now, recently, American Secretary of Commerce, Minister of Commerce, what we typically say, he said Mr. Modi is the most popular and visionary world leader. Australian Prime Minister, respected madam, said India is the leader of the global south. Sorry, Italian, not Australian, Italian. Now, Italians also, and Spain and Germany and France also want to do rupee trading with us. So the stature of India is increasing at a 360-degree. It is not only confined to one particular state. And what I always suspected, and what I always say, that there are around 51 areas, maybe going in the long run, they're 108, because they are the numbers which have a very close relevance with Sanatan. We are developing these areas where there is a world need us. What is the biggest question mark for Jihadi Pakistan? Because even their own analysts are asking, why does world need Pakistan? Kis liye chahiye? Why do world need Pakistan? Nothing. If you perish, live, doom, or die, who the hell is going to bother? Nobody, my brother. But India is giving at least 11 or 12 things are today for which the world depends on India. And in going time, it will be 51, maybe 20, 30 years down the line, it will be 108. And let's not forget, 2035, 22.8 trillion economy. We are adding $22 trillion in next 22 years. And for example, our financial payments market is worth $7 trillion today. 66% of the payments are financial. We are doing more financial payment than US, Europe, and China put together. And there have been people like Mr. Chidambaram who have been making fun, and they said that Modi's understanding of economics can be written on the back of a stamp. Now, Mr. Chidambaram, what do you have to say? Now, we will live with that. We live with all this. But what Modi has shown to the world was what the German ambassador and German foreign minister was at when they went to Chandni Chowk, and they could give it. They could take out a German card and pay to a hawker who was sitting on a footpath for a dupatta of 100 rupees with a rupee card. I mean, that was an absolute shocker. And the way are evolving, we have developed our system for Android phones. We are developing our own operating system. Very soon, we might not be using iOS and Android. We might not be using Windows. We are developing one. And let me give you one scoop, brother. There are one or two big time Silicon Valley acquisitions which we are going to do. I can't spill the names. I don't know the information, but I know something is happening. Very soon we are taking some two big time Silicon Valley acquisitions, and we have developed the capabilities to hit our enemies in their home turfs, wherever they are in the world. We have developed those capabilities. We are hitting and eliminating our enemies, and people are respecting us for us. India is a much better, safer country, and 10 lakh crore infrastructure push was in this budget. Let's look at the numbers. 10 lakh crore infrastructure push. And by the way, in petrochemicals, we are already number 4th. A lot of people don't know us.
Yeah.
But number 4th in petrochemicals. So if you look at these things, it is not only change in foreign policy, it is a 360-degree revamp with the masculine, resilient foreign policy wherein we are looking to people in the eye. We are not demanding respect. We are goddamn commanding respect, and we are getting that respect. Everybody is respecting it. Let it be Eurasians, let it be Americans, let it be Chinese, let it be Europeans. And what we say in Hindi, picture to abhi baki hai mere dost. It's just the trailer. The movie is yet to come. We have just started, and we have 70 years, brother. We have 70 years. And don't forget, Adi. I mean, before these Britishers looted and plundered us, we were controlling 33% of the global GDP. 33% of the global GDP we were controlling. Correct. That is what India has been doing, and we are going to be there soon. And we have the resilience, we have the hard work, and there are enemies, there are cabals which are coming after us. And incidentally, you're seeing the kingpin himself now talking of war. The legendary George Soros. Why does he have to come and talk about India? Because all his pawns have been failing, and still there is one bigger cabal which will be still active after 24. Because it's very important that the Modi ji wins and gets to the Prime Minister seat in 2024. And you see what I had predicted, every week there'll be a drama. Every week a drama is happening. But Adi, the main cabal, Clinton cabal, what we call, even after 24, it will not give up for next 5 years. But the day we start crossing 6-7 trillion, the economy will be on autopilot. We would have got the requisite mind share. We would have got the requisite economic share. We would have got a world dependent on us on a lot of things. Then we'll handle that cabal. So 2029, by 2029, we'll still see these attacks happening. But we as Indians are resilient. And some people are telling me, oh, you have crossed the China's population. But I tell them, my friends, my demographic dividend is going to last for 70 years. Do not bother about what population have we crossed and what we have crossed. We are going to rule the world. We are destined to rule the world, and not for our ass. We are taking everybody with us. Global South means 80% of the countries, 80% of the people. We are talking of development of humanity as such. And who else to endorse than your most two hostile neighbors? Look at Pakistan. Everybody, common man in Pakistan, is saying we need a Modi. And look at China. They're saying Modi is a lexicon. Lexicon is a immortal who comes after the thousands of years for the benefit of humanity. And if I count, you might say, oh, Pakistan, one, China, one in India, there are 3 countries. But my brother, if you do the numbers, they are 45% of the world's population. Who is endorsing you? Your 2 sworn enemies. They are common people on the ground. It is not the political class. It's not the diplomats. It's not the analysts. Common men on the ground. That is the magic of India. That is the new India. That is the resilient India. And we are lucky, you and me and the people who are watching us were born in this era. The IRS mein case.
Sir, I have one question, sir. I'm
Yes,
sure
sir.
you've seen the viral videos running around of the Ugandan president. This is day before yesterday, by the way. he went and met Macron. He went and met someone else, the Spanish leader. He ignored Ursula von der Leyen because she's been giving a lot of lectures. Kamala Harris goes to Africa. She gets, I mean, I'm sorry, but she was ripped.
Whack.
I mean, she was taken out. Macron went there. He was given back very, very harshly. What I want to say is, sir, this giving back, in taste and kind, was started up at the time when Mr. Jaishankar opened up. Before that, nobody answered back to the global West, if I may.
Well, my brother, the power has already shifted. I don't know is the West realizing it.
I don't
Russian-Ukraine
think so.
war. Russian-Ukraine war has put Europe 20 years back in time. And if it lasts for a few months, they will go 50 years back in time. The
Yeah.
biggest loser is not Ukraine, neither Russia. The biggest loser is Europe. Did Americans fix Europe by this Russian-Ukraine war? Possibly yes. Possibly yes. Now, Ukraine is finished. Europe is finished. China is at a $53 trillion debt. I told you about the numbers of there. Now, it is only on the behest of India, on the face of India, on the patronage of India, people have started telling what is a lie, what is a truth. People have started calling spade a spade. That's why I mentioned about Africa. The fact remains still France believes Africa is their colony. Americans still believe you can exploit France. We have seen blood diamonds. God has gifted America with the richest minerals and wealth, and they are the poorest people in the world. Still, you have starvation there. And let me tell you one alarming fact, Adi, which once hit me. You know, in Africa, whatever grains they grow, they don't have very modern agriculture. And China tried to siphon their land, siphon their land for their Chinese benefits, and by the way, 50 African nations, almost 50% of African nations have told China, go fly kite, we can't return your money. Which serves China good. Whichever they go to. Now, incidentally, what happened, Adi, it was an absolute shocker, and I was zapped. I cannot fathom the thought. Africans produce grain. Their children go hungry. Some go starving. You know what happens to a grain? The grain is sent to United States of America. You know for what? Americans don't eat grain. Why do they need grain? The grain is fed to the beef so that your beef burgers can be juicy and delicious. People in Africa, kids in Africa are starving of hunger. And the grain is exported to America so that Americans can have a good steak. I don't want to interfere in the food practices of people. I'm a vegetarian. But I really, when I came to know this
is cool.
I really want
inhuman.
I really want to question all my brothers and sisters. Meat is the biggest CO2 emitter in the world. It's the biggest CO2 emitter. Meat is the biggest thing which is deploying people. Meat is a very slow process. You need 50,000 liters of water and 100 kilos of grain to make a few kgs of steak. Meat is a very inefficient business. And let me tell you one more. Let me expose one more facade. This all West liberated global warming, sir. You must have heard. What is the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere? In your opinion, Adi, do you think how much is it?
It's supposed to be below 8%, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll expose them today. The CO2, which is in Earth's atmosphere, is 0.3. Now, what is it today with global warming or all that? Because it's all of us had. That is basically to stop countries from developing. Let the world be underprivileged, let the development be controlled by the West. It is 0.4. From 0.3, it has increased to 0.4. And below 0.2, all the plant and the insects will die. This is
that is known. That is well known. Yes, sir.
And that is what this facade of global warming is. And the biggest contributor of CO2 is meat industry. And the grain, where kids could be fed, that is fed to the beef. That's the reality of the world. People may not like me for this, but I apologize. My hand-folded request, but I had to share these facts. I had to share these things because I cannot keep this on my heart and say that I was politically correct. I don't care to be politically correct, but I have to say this, Adi. You know me. I carry my heart on my sleeve, and whatever is in my heart, I'll say, because I'm bothered about the humanity. I'm bothered about the mankind. I believe in. I'm the utmost believer of Sanatan, and I believe in Vasudevam Kutumbakam. And there is nothing as real and as dear and as clear as Vasudevam Kutumbakam. This is the formula to salvage the humanity, save the goddamn world. And we all, sooner we realize, better we are.
Whether it is.
Sanatan is the only civilization which can tell you how to have the balance between the five elements and how to live and sustain on this earth. You can be a Christian, you can be a Muslim by religion, be that. But by culture, if you become a Hindu, we will save the humanity, we'll salvage the earth, we'll save the earth. Because remember one thing, you get everything from earth. What are you doing to rip and vanish the earth? Nothing. Namaskaram.
Powerful, sir. Let me say that, because this global warming thing is a bunch of a hoax, if I may. Because if you see I mean, there are people who are doing research. For 1,000 years, they're seeing the temperature going up and down without automobiles and so on and so forth being there.
I gave you
They
data.
just-
I gave you the data. I think 0.3,
They just want
0.4, and
the-
0.2. If it goes 0.2 or less, plants and insects will die. And that will mean we will also go up. It's the
Yeah.
biggest facade. It's the biggest facade run by the West, because they want underdeveloped countries to be underdeveloped. They want to take the zinc metals from Africa, pay them peanuts, process it, and make billions. And but thanks to Uncle Joe Biden, he has weaponized the dollar. Dollar is no longer the reliable global currency. Well,
They say now
time.
you shoot the golden goose, nothing else. That's
Sir,
what they've done, sir.
They forget one thing. Every time is cyclic, and Lord Mahakal is the owner of time, and we are devout bhakts of Lord Mahakal. It's all Mahakal ki kripa. What is happening in India? Har Har Mahadev. Jai
Absolutely,
Mahakal.
sir. Sir, but आपने जो you've brought out something very interesting today, sir, which is about the factor that the world is noticing what India is doing, and that's something that came out not from us. It came out from the world, especially in the UNGA, and individual countries who are actually going out and saying it. There is a reason why they are wanting to come and deal with the rupee. Why aren't they going to China? I mean, if China is so rich and so great, and who will go there?
China's currency is controlled for last 30 years artificially. Why is China's debt so high? Because they are controlling the yuan. Yuan is
Exactly.
not a free currency. I've been 30 times to China for 10 years in a row. I'm telling you, and I've told this on national TV and many channels, there is nothing bigger facade in our lives than Chinese economy. I'm repeating, sir. There's not a bigger
Yes, sir.
facade in our lives than Chinese economy.
Absolutely, sir. I'm ready to open up and put a bet that the Chinese economy is not beyond 8 trillion. And I'm saying that very, very clearly. Not beyond 8 trillion. So that's just a little bit here and there. And this is at about 2020 when the pandemic hit. So I don't know what's happened to them now. But in any case, sir, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking to you, listening from you, and learning from you, sir.
Thank you, Ajit. Thank you very much. Pranam to all and sadhuvat to all.
Thank you, sir. Let's hope that this doctrine that we spoke about spreads faster. We don't mean any harm to anybody in the world. We just want us and everybody else to be peaceful and quiet and happy. Thank you so much, sir. Till next time. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Namaskaram.